Want to know the latest in soccer? Then listen to the Golden State Media Concepts Soccer Podcast. From MLS, the World Cup, and the Premier League, we've got you covered. The latest updates, the hottest matches, and news on the league's top players. It's the Golden State Media Concepts Soccer Podcast.
David Beckham scores the goal to take England all the way to the World Cup finals.
Listen now.
All right, and welcome to the GSMC Soccer Podcast. This episode is brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network, and I am your host, Jesse Tapia. All right, it's April 9th. It's Monday. We always know that we do the show on Monday, so here we are. Okay, you read the title. Manchester is red for another week, meaning Manchester United knocked off Manchester City on Saturday in probably the best game. I don't know. Is it the best game of the Premier League season? Could be, possibly. So far, I don't know. I think that Liverpool-Tottenham game was a pretty fun one there, too. I'm probably missing another one, but nonetheless, it was a great game. We're going to be talking about that and all the other Premier League news in the first segment. Second segment, let's see. We're going to head over to France a bit, okay? Paul Pogba. We all know how this season has gone so far with Manchester United. He did score 2 goals against City on Saturday, but nonetheless, it hasn't always been roses and whatever else the phrase is. Whatever other part of the phrase is for him, all right? Hasn't always been great. He's been linked to PSG, so we're going to be talking about that a bit. Talking about PSG also, and pretty much just their whole little plan of buying everyone they can and just wondering why it doesn't work out in Champions League. So we'll be talking about that. Speaking of Champions League, we had games going on last week. We'll talk about those and also give a little preview for the games going on this week. And then for the fourth segment, as we will always do, as the show continues to go on, we'll be talking about anything else going on in the world of soccer. All right. Let's see. Finally, no Zlatan news to talk about. No Ibrahimovic news. Let's see. How did he do? How did he do this week in the MLS? All right. I don't think he's starting yet, which I don't know. I kind of want to see Zlatan score or starting. All right. I feel like that's more so better. All right. Yeah. So they lost 2-0. Let me see. How many minutes did he play at least? So I see that. All right. And Ibrahimovic is always must-watch TV. All right, let's see. He came in for Manuel Boateng. I'm not seeing exactly what minute he came in, but nonetheless, all right. He's always going to be a story to talk about. We're always going to give updates on him because of the fact that it's Ibra, okay? But nonetheless, he didn't end up scoring in this one and did have a couple of shots that he took. Let's see. Substitution. He came in before the 67th minute, I think. Yeah, came in the 62nd minute and couldn't get a goal there. They're already down 2-0 by then. But nonetheless, I mean, I'd still like to see them giving him starter minutes, all right? I'm going to put him in the starting 11, see how he does there. All right? You got guys like Jonathan Dos Santos there. Ashley Cole. I still can't believe he's been out there. But nonetheless, all right, put him out there, see how he does. Because of the fact that, I mean, what do you have to lose? I mean, Galaxy as a whole just don't look like a good team now, so might as well sell tickets, right? Let me see where they're currently at in the Western Conference. Let's see. They are currently... Actually, they're in third. They're better than what I thought they were. I mean, they're won 2 games, drew 1, and then lost 2. Their goal differential is at a -1, so it's not great there. But nonetheless, I mean, still kind of interested to see what happens there. Like I said, you're probably better off putting him into the starting 11, see how he does. But nonetheless, let's head over to the Premier League, all right? Obviously, this was the game of the weekend to watch. It always is when it's the Manchester Derby. City, if they would have won the league against United. But nonetheless, like I said, didn't happen, okay? Manchester United were down 2-0 in the first half, and it was looking like it's over. City's going to win it. They're probably going to win by at least 3, all right? Second half comes. I'm not really sure what Jose Mourinho told the team or if he told them anything at all because he doesn't really seem like the kind of guy to get fired up or anything like that. But nonetheless, they come out, and it's a completely different team. All right? Completely different. And they end up winning 3-2. You got Chris Smalling, who gave up a header to Vincent Kompany in the first half, ends up scoring the game-winning goal. Paul Pogba, who has been pretty much... I mean, he was worth $89 million in euros. I think it was over 100 in US dollars, and just really hasn't played up to his ability, I guess, to the price tag he's under. All right, and he's had problems with Mourinho all year. We're going to get into that more in the next segment, but just the whole thing, he's losing minutes and all. He's not in the starting 11 as much anymore. Comes out, scores in the 66th minute, I think it was, and then 2 minutes later scores again, which made it 2-2. All right, the guy played extremely well, and that's what Manchester United needs from a guy like Pogba. All right, you need him to just go out and play it. Don't do all the extra stuff or whatever. Just go out and play the game you know how to play. And I'm very curious to see if he ends up leaving. Again, I don't want to talk too much about it since I'm going to save it for the next segment. But, I mean, if you're Manchester City, this was not an all-time collapse, but it was a collapse nonetheless, okay? And they might even have to wait another week. You're playing Tottenham on Saturday or Sunday, whatever it may be this weekend. And that's no easy win there. I think they're going to be playing at the Etihad. I have to double-check that. But nonetheless, like I said, I mean, let's see. Actually, I'll double-check right here. They're going to be playing in Tottenham. All right, so yeah, it's going to be a tough game there. Game's going to be on 11:45 on the West Coast. I think that's what, 2:45, whatever it may be, over out here or out on the East Coast. But nonetheless, like I said, I mean, City just gave that one up. I don't know if it's they figured game was over so we could relax a bit. And there's always this whole thing with 2-0 being the worst lead to have in soccer because of the fact that if the other team scores one, then the momentum's on their side and they can easily get another. And maybe that's just what it was here. But it's not like United was playing great before Pogba's goal or anything like that. They weren't at all. All right? They were pretty poor. And it was looking like, because I think I saw a stat earlier today talking about how Manchester United has yet to give up more than 2 goals all season long, and that has to do with David De Gea. All right, the guy's without a doubt the best goalie in the world right now. Okay, at one point it was Manuel Neuer, but he's been hurt for I feel like he's hurt every year, honestly. But nonetheless, I mean, there was one where Aguero could have had a header and could have tied the game up late in the second half, but De Gea somehow made this save where the ball's going to his left side and hits his right arm over and flicks it up over the post, which was ridiculous to see there. Raheem Sterling missed a bunch of chances, and then there was 2 instances where you could have said that Man City should have had a penalty, and that's fine and all, but I'm one where I'm like, you know what, never leave the game up to the refs, okay? If anything, City shouldn't have gave up those 2 goals in 2 minutes to Pogba, okay? You shouldn't have gave up a goal to Chris Smalling. You can't blame the refs for as for the reason why you lost, because that's not the case at all. All right, you lost because of the fact that you took your focus off. If City keeps continuing on to pour it on United, they win this game. Keep the pressure on. All right, but you got guys like Raheem Sterling who couldn't finish, and Raheem Sterling seems to be a guy who doesn't finish easy chances quite a bit. All right, but either way, like I said, I mean, with City, it's just got to wait another week. I think they can win it against Tottenham. Win it at Wembley, that'd be pretty fun there to win the Premier League title at Wembley. But let's say that they don't, they end up losing. I mean, those stories are going to write themselves. They're going to have people. And again, City's going to win the title this year. That's no doubt. Not even worried about it at all. Whether it's this weekend or the weekend after, they're going to be winning it. But there are going to say they lose to the Tottenham. Let's say they lose like 2-0, 2-1 or whatever, or however many goals they just lose. I mean, people say, maybe the collapse is on the horizon. Maybe City just isn't going to be able to get it done. All right, but like I said, nonetheless, I mean, I don't see anything really crazy happening with City. I'm sure they'll be fine. They're going to be winning the title. I have no doubt about it. Let's see. Who are they playing after Tottenham? After Tottenham, I think they're going to be playing. I have to double check that real quick. I don't see who they're playing right now after Tottenham, but nonetheless, I mean, I don't really see them losing enough to where it's one of the greatest collapses of all time in the Premier League. I mean, I think they just need one win and it's over. So it's going to happen whether it's this weekend against Tottenham or the weekend after against whoever else they may be playing. Let me double check it actually. Yeah, so I got Tottenham this weekend, and then they're going to be playing, let's see, because there's a bunch of games going on during the week. They'll be playing Swansea. So it's either you win it in Wembley this week or you beat Swansea and win it at the Etihad like they should have against United. But nonetheless, it was a fun game to watch, and it's a nice little pick-me-up for United because of the fact that you never want to see your rival team win the league title, especially against you. All right? Manchester, I put the title. Manchester is red. It is. Okay? And if we're talking history, it's always going to be red. But nonetheless, City looks like maybe on the come-up now that they have Pep out there. The team's playing extremely well. Okay? Will they ever be a bigger club than Man United? That would take years on decades on top of decades to achieve. All right, it's not going to happen. But nonetheless, all right, nice little result for United. I know a lot of the players were happy after that. And like I said, just a great result there. Let's see what else is going on. What else happened in the Premier League over the weekend? Because that wasn't just the only game there. Let's see. On Saturday, we had Liverpool and Everton drawing 0-0. Not a fun game there to watch at all. Tottenham beat Stoke City 2-1. I think Eriksen scored both goals, I think it was. Let me see. How many goals did he score? He scored one, but I know... Yeah, he scored both goals, but one... and Tottenham is trying to overturn, so Harry Kane gets it, because I know he's in the little golden boot race with Mohamed Salah. Burnley knocked off Watford 2-1. Let's see. Crystal Palace drew with Bournemouth 2-2. Brighton and Hove Albion drew with Huddersfield Town 1-1. Newcastle knocked off Leicester City 2-1. West Brom drew with Swansea 1-1. Like I said, City and United. That game ended in a 3-2 win for United. Arsenal knocked off Southampton 3-2. Southampton looks like they're going to be getting relegated pretty soon. Aubameyang had a goal in this one. Danny Welbeck scored 2. You had Shane Long and Charlie Austin scoring for Southampton. Aubameyang's been pretty good play for Arsenal too. That's someone that they need to keep around, obviously, for a while. And I'm very curious to see if the Dortmund manager goes over there. I mean, that's obviously going to help Aubameyang even more. And then we had Chelsea versus West Ham. Chelsea's hopes for finishing top 4 pretty much all but gone. All right, they drew 1-1 with West Ham. So there's Billy Quetta scored in the 36th minute for Chelsea. And then it's like, let's make this say, life, death, taxes. Those are the 3 biggest things in life. Well, life, death, taxes, and then Chicharito scoring against Chelsea. Those are the 4 truest things in life. 4 most certain things in life, I think the saying goes, okay? The guy scores whenever he wants against Chelsea. It's honestly kind of ridiculous. From when he was in United to any other game he's played against Chelsea, he always seems to score, all right? And one thing I saw too, he has yet to score a goal outside of the 18. He's done it in the Bundesliga. I'm sure he's done it in the Liga MX, but has yet to score outside of the 18 in the Premier League. The day he does that, the day we're all going to explode. Twitter's going to go crazy, all right? But nonetheless, I mean... just a great game, I guess, by West Ham because of the fact that you're drawing Chelsea 1-1. West Ham have been pretty much brutal all season long, haven't looked good at all. And one thing, too, with David Moyes, I don't know what his thing is with Chicharito, just refuses to start him, but when he's out there, he scores. Why not just put him out there? All right? Makes no sense to me. But either way, like I said, he scored against Chelsea like clockwork, does it pretty much whenever. All right, and like I said, let's look at the table right now in the Premier League. All right, I think it's... right now, off the top of my head, I know it's City, then United, and I think it might be Tottenham. It's Liverpool in third, who are tied with Tottenham as far as points go. But Liverpool have the better goal differential. Tottenham still have a game in hand, so if they win, they'd be jumping Liverpool. Chelsea are currently 10 points back behind Tottenham. Both have the same amount of games played. Then you got Arsenal with 54 points. Do have a chance at jumping Chelsea. Looks like they're safe from Burnley jumping them. Then you got Leicester in 8th, Everton in 9th, Newcastle in 10th. Newcastle, they have a lot of money as far as they make some of the most, like they make the most money, I think it is. I think like a top 20 club as far as money brought in for that club. They need to start buying players. Newcastle needs to start being a top team once again. Bournemouth in 11th, Watford in 12th, Brighton in 13th, West Ham in 14th, Swansea in 15th, Huddersfield in 16th, and you got Crystal Palace in 17th, and then in the relegation zone you got Southampton, Stoke, and West Brom in that order, 18 through 20. All right, with Southampton, they still got a game in hand on Crystal Palace. They end up winning, they'd be jumping them there. So, I don't know. Southampton's always been that team that's produced talent, but they could be going down pretty soon. As far as Stoke and West Brom is going to be going down, and Stoke pretty much need a miracle. They got 5 games left to get out of there, so we'll see about it. But it's going to wrap it up for this segment. Like I said, City United was a great game. United ended up pulling out the big win there. So, we'll see if City can win the title in Wembley this upcoming weekend. But that's going to wrap it up, like I said, so stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
Are you looking to get your college football fix? Looking to get the latest news on your favorite school's team? The GSMC College Football Podcast is your ticket to all things college football. Join us as we talk college football from the national championship, the college rivalries, the bowl game, to the Heisman Trophy. To which conference is the best? We've got you covered for the Big Ten, SEC, Big 12, the Pac-12, ACC, and everything in between. Download the GSMC College Football Podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Google Play, or anywhere you find podcasts. Just type GSMC in the search bar.
All right, and welcome back to the GSMC Soccer Podcast. So far in the first segment, we talked about Premier League games going on over the weekend, this past weekend, I should say. Talked about City and United's game for the majority of the segment, went over all the other scores for the game. All right, we're going to stay in the Premier League a bit, and we're going to talk about Paul Pogba. All right, there's been rumors as far as what's going on with him and United, all right, him and Jose Mourinho, and I think more so it's on Mourinho, like just the whole backstory type thing, all right? Obviously, soccer, football, whatever you want to call it, is heading towards the younger generation, okay? The way the younger generation acts now is starting to head over there, kind of like getting your, like Pogba, has a different hairstyle every week, doing all the crazy dances and stuff like that, more so just, I guess, just entertaining themselves, all right? Soccer at one point was more so like pretty much showing up to work and none of that celebration stuff. Just pretty much, I guess you could say, let's see, what can I compare it to? It was more so just like a game of, I don't want to say respect. It was like, I don't know. All right, either way, it wasn't like this. And now that's what it's going towards. And I think there's a little bit of loss in translation going on here with Mourinho and Pogba. All right, obviously Mourinho is old school. Okay, doesn't really talk to the players too much. Yes, coaches them and stuff during training and all that, but nonetheless, not really too involved with the players. Okay, last I saw was Pogba and Mourinho weren't on speaking terms and all that. Again, with soccer rumors, I mean, you can't really trust how true they are, like realize how true they are because of the fact that there's always something new coming out every day. But nonetheless, like I said, it hasn't been all great so far this season. Okay, and obviously because of that, Pogba has seen himself to the bench, coming off the bench now, isn't usually in the starting 11 like you'd normally think a player like him would be. And it's been, like I said, just pretty bad. All right. And now we got the rumors of where's Pogba going to be headed? Is he going to be leaving United? And this whole United thing, I mean, it sounded like a nice little story at first because Pogba was a guy who really didn't get a fair shake over there. Ended up going to Juventus and pretty much became one of the best midfielders in the world, if not the best, okay? And now it's a matter of play is kind of diminished because of the fact that, I don't know, I think that it's a little unrealistic to expect Pogba to play the way everyone thinks he is as far as how much he's gotten paid. Everyone's expecting the guy to go out and score goals. He's a midfielder. He doesn't score goals, all right? He's been injured a lot this season. He's still pretty high up there in assists, I think it is. I'd have to double-check his numbers as far as the Premier League goes, but nonetheless, when he's out there, I think he's productive. All right, it's just people now, and that's one thing too with these high price tags, people are now expecting him to go out and pretty much just be this out of this world type player, and they're attributing that to his pretty much how much he's making. All right, that's one thing I think that we as fans need to stop doing is putting a player's stats next to how much they're making. You're paying for what the guy has done before, not paying for what he's done and doing now. I guess you could say, if that makes any sense whatsoever. Let's see, Pogba, currently 5th in assists. Obviously 6th behind De Bruyne, who is number 1 with 15. Manchester City has 3 players in the top 5. The three of the top 3 players, obviously, for Manchester City as far as assists. They got De Bruyne with 15, Sané with 12, and Silva with 11. But nonetheless, Pogba's 5th with 9. All right, ahead of Salah, ahead of Mkhitaryan, ahead of Ozil, ahead of Sterling, ahead of Mahrez, ahead of Eriksen, and all those guys. All right. He still played pretty well. He's not a guy that's going to go out and get you 20 goals in a season because that's not what he does. He's a midfielder. People need to understand that. But nonetheless, now, like I said, we got the whole, where is he going now? I think he's been linked back to Juventus a couple times. Madrid, I've seen that. I've seen PSG is the most recent one. Okay. Him and PSG would be a nice little fit, I guess you could say, back playing in France, where his nationality is and all that. Back with the national team and all. And I think that it'd be a nice little fit, but just one thing with PSG is when are they going to realize that buying these players isn't going to win you the Champions League? Okay? Like, it's not going to help you at all. Like, when are they going to finally realize that? Okay? It goes from buying guys like Cavani to Ibrahimovic to Neymar. It's not going to work. That's not how you win. You win by bringing your own players up from within. And I don't really think that's what Monaco does. And it's just, if Monaco had the kind of money that PSG had and also had this academy, youth academies like they do now, that Monaco currently has, Monaco would be probably one of the best clubs in the world. All right. But nonetheless, it's just PSG considers too always just figures, you know what, the best way we can get to the top is by buying players, and that just doesn't work. All right. The only team that's really ever worked for is Manchester City. Okay. And I think, like Madrid too, but even then, so Madrid does bring in players from within, I guess you could say. And now I got to put myself on the spot thinking of what players they currently got out there. Casemiro come from the academy. Like, I don't think, actually, Madrid's one of the exceptions, okay? But Madrid buys the best of the best. PSG isn't able to buy players like that. All right, they do have the money, but it's just, they're never going to overtake Madrid. Barcelona is a team who they'll buy players, but they bring guys from within also. And it's just a matter of PSG needs to finally realize that doesn't work. All right? Winning the French league does not matter. Like, that does not matter one bit at all. All right? Winning the French league is like winning, I guess, your third grade spelling bee. It's easy as can be. There's only two teams really that are able to compete in there, Monaco and PSG, and PSG just has the money to where they can buy whatever they want, buy the top players in order to win that easy league. Okay? They need to start focusing on winning Champions League, which I think they have been, but it's just a matter of they haven't been winning it. Okay? Focusing is one thing, winning it is another, and it's just one thing they haven't been able to do at all. All right, I'm not sure when they'll ever do it. All right, they go face a team like, who did they lose to this year? Madrid, yeah, they pretty much did nothing against Madrid this year. All right, didn't look good at all. They need to realize that, you know what, we got to start at least bringing in some inside talent in order to do it. But as far as Pogba goes, going to that team, I mean, obviously, I'm going to talk about how that's a great move. That's a great move for them because of the fact that every time you bring in a top player, it's always going to be praised, no doubt. Okay? And one thing with Pogba, like I said, I don't think he's really lost any ability. I think it's a matter of it's unrealistic expectations with him, and it's just going to be extremely difficult to live up to them. All right? If anything with Manchester United, I think that they just need to get rid of Mourinho. Okay? He's too stubborn. He's too old school in order for it to work. All right? They don't have bad players there at all. Pogba is one of the best midfielders in the world. All right. Lukaku is one of the best strikers in the Premier League, or at least was. I mean, this year he's been kind of struggling against the top 6 teams. Let me see how Lukaku's done this season as far as goals scored. He's not near the Golden Boot race. He's got 15 goals so far this season, one behind Raheem Sterling and JV Vardy, who are currently tied for 4th, I guess you could say. All right. And then you got guys like Aguero, Kane, and Salah who are up there. I don't think anyone's catching Salah. Usually Kane's the guy you see up there, but nonetheless, it's Mohamed Salah's year. All right, but nonetheless, like I said, I mean, as far as Mourinho goes, you got to get rid of him. I just really think he's overstayed his welcome there. It was a nice little acquisition bringing him in right after Van Gaal because of the fact that, I mean, they went from Sir Alex Ferguson to Moyes and then Van Gaal, and they just never really worked there. So now it's time. I mean, Mourinho's kind of brought in a culture, but it's just, I don't think it's a good mix. All right, you need someone who can relate to these younger players and kind of work around the egos there. Because that's what it is. All these young players now have huge egos, okay? With Ibrahimovic, like I said last week, I think it was, dude's got the biggest ego in the history of sports. But nonetheless, I don't know if it's just, I don't know. He knows how to use it properly, I guess you could say. These other players, they need to be coached well, all right? And I just don't think Mourinho's the guy who could do that, all right? It's just a matter of you need to bring in some young blood. Like Arsenal's been bringing in that coach from Dortmund. Bring in someone like that. That's what United need to do too. Don't bring in any big-name coaches. Bring in someone that could do a job. All right? And one thing too that United is struggling to realize is they're probably never going to get back to the years they had with Sir Alex Ferguson. That's one thing they need to realize too, okay? Sir Alex Ferguson probably one of the is one of the best managers of all time. What he did at United during his time there is almost unheard of with how many trophies he was winning and pretty much the dominance there from the 80s, late 80s to now. All right. I think United are currently searching for the next Sir Alex Ferguson when in reality, you're not going to get that at all. Like that's never going to happen again unless you pretty much get lucky. All right. They need to realize that that's not going to happen. You need to temper expectations down a bit. I understand there's this whole thing with they're a big club and all, and that's fine, but you're not going to get back to the dominance you once were at. And I think that's the biggest problem with United since he's left is they've been trying to chase that when in reality they need to start realizing that, you know what, it's a new time and we need to start building with what we got now. All right, because they do have very good players, like I said. I really like Lingard, I like Martial, I like Pogba, I like Lukaku, I like Ander Herrera. Matic is good there. And then defense and De Gea have been playing extremely well. They do have the pieces to go out and win the title. But I think there's just way too much pressure on it. I think that's one of the biggest things there as to why they falter so much. All right, I mean, if they were to play like how they did against City in that second half, they could very well be competing with a team like City. Obviously, it's not going to happen this year as far as winning the title, but I mean, this year United have only lost 5 times. They've drawn 5 times, and they've won 22. All right? They've had a relatively good season. All right? Without City, Manchester is the best team in the Premier League, but it's just a matter of this is just an unreal year. But like I said, you probably need to see Chelsea getting rid of their manager. Arsenal, I'm not sure. They win the Europa League. They're stuck with Wenger once again. But getting back to it, I do think that United do need to get rid of Mourinho. All right. I just think that it's kind of like we're going to cross over to the NFL right here. Okay, kind of like guys like the Jeff Fishers, the John Foxes of the world. Old guys, if you don't know, if you do know, then you know. All right. Old coaches really just don't have any business being coaching teams like this anymore. All right. That's Mourinho. It's just he's just too old. That's it. He's too old. All right. The way he coaches now, it doesn't work anymore. This is a new age of soccer, and everyone needs to realize that. All right. Mourinho really hasn't won anything since, I guess he was at, when was he at Chelsea? Was it recently, wasn't it? Yeah. So since then, I mean, he hasn't really done much, and with United, they've been kind of underwhelming. All right. So I do think they need to get rid of him. I think getting rid of Pogba would be a mistake. If anything, just get rid of the coach, bring in a new one, figure out how to find the right spot for Pogba. And Pogba just needs to stay healthy. That's all it is. All right. And as far as his whole little price tag and all that, he's never going to live up to that. That's unreal. That's unrealistic. Okay. He's never going to score 20 goals a season or anything like that because he never was a player like that. All right. With Juventus, that's one thing, but it's difficult to go out and do in the Premier League. Okay. Playing in Serie A is a whole lot easier than playing in the Premier League, no doubt. But that's all I got to say about that. Just want to get my thoughts on it. As far as him going to PSG, I mean, if I had to put like a little bet on it or whatever, whether they get rid of Mourinho or they get rid of Pogba, I think it's going to be they're getting rid of Pogba first. All right. I don't think it's right, but I think it's the way it's going to go. So that's going to wrap it up for this segment. Next up, we're going to be talking about the Champions League games that went on last week. All right. We had Madrid knocking off Juventus, Barca winning their game, Bayern winning theirs, and then we had what was the other game? Liverpool knocking off City. So we're going to talk about that. And then, like I said, for the last segment, we'll be talking about whatever else is going on in the world of soccer. So stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be. Visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
All right, and welcome back to the GSMC Soccer Podcast. So far, today's show has really been very Premier League based, all right? Talked about the weekend's games on the first segment, talked more so about the United and City game more than we did about anything else. Pretty much after we got done with that game, pretty much gave a little quick recap of the scores for the other games, but nonetheless, second segment, talked a bit about Paul Pogba being linked to PSG, gave my thoughts on it all. And let's see, for this segment, we're going to be talking Champions League. Talking about last week's games, going to be talking about this week's games too. So let's jump right into it. All right. Let's see. What do we have? We had City versus Liverpool. We had Madrid versus Juventus, Bayern versus Sevilla, and then Roma versus Barca. So let's go over these scores. All right. For Madrid and Juventus game, I mean, I'm sure many of us thought that it'd be a great game. All right. Two top clubs faced off in the Champions League final last season, and that just simply wasn't the case at all. All right. Madrid did whatever they wanted. Ronaldo had his crazy bicycle kick goal. They won 3-0. Dybala got a red card in the 66th minute. And now, I mean, Juventus has no chance whatsoever of advancing. All right? And that's just putting it nicely, I guess you could say. And poor Gigi Buffon. All right? goalkeeper for Juventus. Going to get knocked out in the Champions League this week, and then won't be playing in the World Cup this summer. And that's one thing that kills me too still about Italy, is that they're not even going to be in the World Cup this year. All right. I mean, you figure Italy, they should be in the World Cup every year. They should never not qualify. It doesn't matter. I don't care if they're playing UEFA or whatever, what teams are out there and how good they are. No, Italy should always be in the World Cup. That's like a must, okay? Same way Germany should be, Italy should be, all right? Italy still produces talent, and I just don't understand what went wrong there. But nonetheless, like I said, you feel for a guy like Buffon because of the fact that he's not playing the World Cup and he's going to knock down the Champions League. He's never won Champions League before, all right? At least he's won a World Cup before. But nonetheless, I mean, Juventus just didn't show up at all. At all. All right? And with Ronaldo, I mean, the guy's been on fire so far in 2018. All right? Absolutely on fire. Almost, if not, I'll say he's been better than Messi so far in 2018. Messi's been good, but it's just Ronaldo has been, and I hope you guys don't think I'm comparing the two or anything like that, because I'm not trying to. And one thing, too, when you're always talking about Ronaldo, you're always going to have to talk about Messi, too, I guess, because of the fact that, I mean, they're always going to be linked to each other. They're the two best players of all time. All right? That's why. But nonetheless, I mean, you have Ronaldo scoring 2 goals. Like I said, had that crazy bicycle kick goal. People were saying that it was better than Rooney's. It was better than Zlatan's. It wasn't. Okay, it wasn't. I've seen a bicycle kick like that many times. The only reason why it's talked about so highly is because it's Ronaldo. All right, and that's fine. But nonetheless, I mean, that did not come anywhere near Rooney's bicycle kick. All right. Rooney's was by far the best. I remember when ESPN was doing their top 10. They did like the best of the best, I think it was. And I guess whatever top play won that night, you'd put it against the top play the next day. Rooney's won for like 32, I think they did it for the week or whatever. They did like for 32 weeks or whatever. Rooney's won 32 days. I can't remember. Nonetheless, I mean, Rooney's bicycle kick was by far better than Ronaldo's. All right, by far. So that's how that game ended up 3-0. Like I said, no Dybala for the next game. I think Ramos is going to be out for the next game too. I got to double check. Are they playing on Tuesday? Let's see. Tuesday is Barca versus Roma, City versus Liverpool, and then Wednesday is the other games. All right, but nonetheless, yeah, they'll be playing this Wednesday. All right, let's see what else. We had Bayern Munich versus Sevilla. Sevilla kind of scared Bayern at first. They were up 1-0, scored in the 32nd minute, and then Jesus Navas completely forgot about him. All right, forgot he was still around playing. I remember when he was with Spain, I think it was, 2010, the year they won the World Cup. He was a great player for them, all right? Was a very good player. And his biggest problem was he didn't play the same way he did for Spain with his club, and I think he was playing for City at the time. City ends up selling him. Turns out to be a decent move there because of the fact that now City's a very good team, and he's just been at Sevilla ever since, and you just haven't heard of the guy since. I don't even think he's not on the national team anymore or anything like that, so now it's just a matter of he's hitting own goals for Sevilla against Bayern, but nonetheless, yeah, he hit an own goal in the 37 minutes, so it tied at 1-1, and then Thiago scored in the 68th minute, which made it 2-1, and Bayern ended up winning that one, all right? I mean, unless Sevilla ends up shocking the world, I don't see Bayern losing. They had 2 away goals. I don't see them giving up 2 against Sevilla back in Germany, so we'll see about it. And one thing, too, I think Bayern ended up winning the Bundesliga over the weekend, and that league is pretty much held hostage by Bayern Munich, okay? Because of the fact that there isn't one team in that league that could pay players the way Bayern is able to, all right? Dortmund, I mean, look, they've had Lewandowski, they've had Götze, they've had Hummels, they've had plenty of other players, and they've all just gone to Bayern because of the fact that Bayern can pay them. The only player that hasn't is Royce, and that guy hasn't been able to go to Bayern because he's always injured all the time. All right? But nonetheless, I mean, that league has just been on lockdown forever, I feel. All right? Let's see. Let me look at the table right now because we can pay attention to the top 4 at least. So let's see. You got Bayern in first, 20 points ahead. Like I said, they won the Premier League. It's already over. We got Schalke in second, Dortmund in third, Leverkusen in fourth, and then Frankfurt in fifth. Leverkusen last year, I mean, they kind of faltered a bit, didn't look good, and then the younger guys took over this season, and they're playing really well. They got Leon Bailey, I think it is, his name is. He's from Jamaica, too. Jamaica's starting to produce a little bit of talent, I think it is, all right? Starting to get a little bit better, and one thing, too, is Jamaica could be that up-and-coming team in Concacaf, but nonetheless, like I said, Bayern pretty much holding that league hostage. You got Hamburg and Mainz in the relegation zone. Let's see, Wolfsburg's in 15th. At one point, they used to be a very good Bundesliga team. Hoffenheim in 7th, RB Leipzig in 6th. Remember that little year, I think was it last year or the year before that, where they were going on a little magical run? Ooh, they're going to be kind of like the Bundesliga's Leicester City. But nonetheless, I mean, they're still up there, top 6. So it wasn't like it was a fluke or anything like that. But like I said, getting back to Champions League, Bayern knocked off Sevilla 2-1. And then on Wednesday's games, of course, I mean, no surprise here. Barcelona knocked off Roma 4-1. You had 2 own goals from Roma, which is just ridiculous. All right, PK and Suarez scored, which made it 4-1, and then Dzeko scored for Roma in the 80th minute. That was kind of a little consolation goal right there. They were down 3-0 at that time by the time he scored. And then we had probably the biggest shock of those 4 games, I think you could say. Or would it be Madrid beating... No, I'd say Madrid beating Juventus was a shock, but not as much as Liverpool going out and just pretty much handling Manchester City. I mean, absolutely destroyed. Put on a clinic there, okay? You had Mohamed Salah scoring in the 12th minute. Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain scoring a banger in the 20th minute. Banger meaning the dude pretty much hit it from outside the 18. No chance of stopping it there. And then Sadio Mane scoring in the 31st minute, 3-0. And after that, it's not even like City couldn't get anything going whatsoever. Like an ultimate masterclass there by Liverpool. All right. And, I mean, maybe it was just City they've been exhausted from all the games they've been playing, trying to win the Premier League and all that. Maybe it makes no sense to not focus on the Champions League even though you're about to win the Premier League. But if anything, with how many points they're up, you'd figure they'd be even better for the Champions League. But it's just Liverpool has all the momentum on their side right now. And I think I did pick Liverpool. Did I? I'm going to go ahead and say I did. If I didn't, oh well. But like I said, I mean, Liverpool ended up winning that one 3-0, played extremely well. Now everyone's entertaining the fact that, or the opinion, I guess you could say, that Manchester City could come back and it's not over yet. No, it's over. It is over, okay? I guess if Mohamed Salah doesn't score or doesn't play and no one else on Liverpool can score and somehow Manchester City carves up that Liverpool defense for 3 goals, which is looking very unlikely because that Liverpool defense has been playing extremely well. I just do not see it happening whatsoever. And I'm sure Salah's going to be playing too. Sat out Saturday's game against Everton, the Merseyside derby. But nonetheless, I just do not see Liverpool giving it up there. I don't see City getting advanced at all. So, honestly, I'm just, with the teams that won, I don't see anyone else getting past. The only team that could really give it up is Bayern, I feel, but even then, so I don't see it happening. So, let's see. We got games on Tuesday and Wednesday. Like I said, we got Roma versus Barca on Tuesday, along with City versus Liverpool. Then we got Madrid versus Juventus on Thursday, or Wednesday, along with Bayern Munich versus Sevilla. All right. For my picks for these games, obviously, you heard me say it right now. I got Madrid, Bayern winning, Barca, and Liverpool winning. Very excited to see Liverpool advancing in the Champions League, okay? I really hope it does happen. I mean, if Manchester City ended up coming back, that'd be cool too, and that'd be a nice little story to talk about. But it's just with Liverpool, they're that historic club. All right, they're one of the top 2 clubs in the Premier League as far as history goes and all that. You go United and Liverpool, top 2. I mean, believe it or not, at one point, Liverpool was the best Premier League team, best English team, I guess you could say, winning all the titles. But since some crazy years since they haven't won it. It's been like 21 years, I think it is, since they last won a Premier League title. All right. Poor Steven Gerrard never got his title. But nonetheless, like I said, with Liverpool, they're a historic club, so I'd like to see them advance. I really want to see Liverpool versus Madrid. All right. I think Madrid would win that little tie right there, but it's just with Liverpool, the way they've been attacking and playing so far this season has just been unreal. They've been playing extremely well. All right, honestly, I'm not even sure what else they need to go out and win the Premier League title. Maybe they could do it next year now that you got a guy like Mohamed Salah who's been playing extremely well, and I really hope Salah doesn't end up leaving to like a Madrid or anything like that. If he went to Madrid, I mean, that's the ultimate dream right there if you're a top player. Going to Madrid, okay? Obviously, you got clubs like Barcelona and all that, but there's no club in the world like Madrid. It's just, like they said, the all-white home uniforms. All right, playing at the Bernabeu. It's just the pressure being great and all that. I'd be fine with Salah going to Madrid, I guess you could say, but anywhere else I'd be pretty frustrated at. I think it's either you stay at Liverpool or you go to Madrid, but it's just a matter of who offers the most money. But like I said, I mean, I do want to see Liverpool versus Madrid, probably the 2 most historic clubs left in the Champions League besides Juventus, but I'm talking about after in the semifinal round. All right, so I'd rather see that, but I would like to see maybe a chance where we get to see Madrid versus Liverpool in the final. All right. And I think my number 1 for the final would be Barca versus Madrid. But if we don't get that, then I'd really like to see Liverpool versus Madrid. And I just don't. We're probably going to end up like a Bayern Munich versus Barca, or Bayern Munich versus Liverpool, or something like that. All right, Bayern Munich somehow going to find their way into the final. I think, remember what? Didn't they get rid of their manager? When did they most recently get rid of their manager and brought in the new one? I don't know. But either way, Bayern's been playing well. Madrid's been playing well. Barca's been playing well. Liverpool's been playing well. So we'll see about it. And like I said, Manchester City, now I'm realizing, lost 3-0 to Liverpool, and then lost 3-2 to United. 6-2 in their last 2 games. Not great. Maybe City's on the downfall. Who knows? Probably not. Like I said, they're probably going to win the title at Wembley. If not, then they'll win it against Swansea. So we'll see about it. But really excited for the Champions League games going on. And like I said, I really want to see Liverpool versus Madrid. If not, give me Barca versus Madrid in the final. But we'll see about it. I mean, for Juventus, like I said, sad the fact that Buffon's not going to be able to win a Champions League. I mean, last 3 years, I mean, it's been his best chances. Sevilla, good for them. They made it this far. As far as Roma, same with them. Good for them. They made it this far. And for City, I guess you're going to win the Premier League. So you can hang your head on there. So that's going to wrap it up for this segment. Next up, we're going to be talking about anything else going on in the world of soccer, anything else that crosses my mind. So stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
This is your ultimate stop for everything sports. The Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. Should I say more? From the NFL, MLB, the NBA to MMA, it's all in here. The Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. Listen now.
Alrighty. Welcome back to the GSMC Soccer Podcast. So far today, we've talked Premier League, we talked Manchester City versus Manchester United, we talked a bit about Pogba in the second segment. Actually, we spent the whole second segment talking about Pogba. Third segment, we talked Champions League, and then for this segment, as you'll know, as we always do, we're going to be talking about whatever else is going on in the football/soccer world, and anything else that's going through my mind as far as thoughts about anything else going on in the game. Alright, so this week, we got Concacaf Champions League. Not only just UEFA Champions League, okay? I know everyone pays attention to that, but we also do need to pay attention to Concacaf Champions League, okay? That's entertaining too. MLS Liga MX gets a real bad rap. I feel like Liga MX is kind of picking itself up, though, with all the European guys are starting to bring in the South American players, but MLS isn't far off or anything like that, all right? But nonetheless, we got New York Red Bulls versus Chivas, and then Toronto FC versus Club America, all right? This is going to be very interesting. I think New York Red Bulls is playing. I got to double check. I think New York Red Bulls is playing in their home stadium in New York, or wherever it may be, because I know those New York teams are a bit weird because of the fact that, I don't know, teams in New York just don't play in New York. So yeah, I think they're playing in New York. All right. Toronto's heading over to the Azteca. All right. And that's going to be tough. New York definitely has it a whole lot easier than Toronto does. And Toronto's up 2-0. All right. If I had a pick right now, I'd say I'm more confident in New York advancing to the final. And they're down 1-0 on aggregate right now. Toronto's up 2-0. All right. And I have less confidence in them. There's just something about playing the Azteca that doesn't really, I don't know. It scares the road teams. They've been training over down in Pachuca's little practice facility, and I saw too, people were saying that that's going to help them get used to the elevation and all that. That's not how the human body works. Okay, you don't go somewhere for a few days and be like, oh yeah, I could play in this weather, in this type of environment. No. That doesn't work that way at all. All right. Again, way more confident in New York than I am in Toronto. Toronto's a better team too, as far as between them and New York. All right, but I'm very curious to see. It's all going to come down to, I guess, what Club America lineup they put out. Okay. If they put out kind of like the kind of rotational they've been doing, then yeah, Toronto FC probably should still get through, even though it is going to get tough no matter what. All right, but it's just a matter if Club America puts out their top players, then I don't know. It's going to be a fun one to watch. They still got to get 2 goals. And if I had to make my pick All right, I'd say Toronto still advances, but there's just something about the Azteca, some type of magic or whatever that goes on there. All right, I'm not sure what it is, but nonetheless, there's just something about it, kind of this little mystique about it that always is like bad luck for the road teams. All right, if in a perfect world, I'd want to see Chivas versus Club America. All right, Super Classico, one of the funner games to watch, especially for the Concacaf Champions League title. That'd be way better for ratings than it would be Toronto FC versus Chivas or New York Red Bulls versus Toronto FC. I'm telling you right now. All right, and you could fight me on that all you want. But go ahead and check the League MX ratings. Okay. But yeah, I was just very looking forward to that. If I had to make my pick, I'd say Toronto and Chivas advance. Maybe Club America. I'm going to stick with Mike. I'm going to go Club America, ends up coming back, and I'm going to say Chivas advance too. So we'll do that. All right. But nonetheless, MLS needs these games right here. They need to have one of these teams advance and have one of them finally win it. Okay, if one of these MLS teams do not win the Concacaf Champions League, then this all means nothing. Literally. We've seen teams make it to the final. You got to win it now. All right. I remember Montreal Impact played versus Club America in one of the finals, and nothing happened. They lost. All right. If you want the MLS to elevate, they got to win this year. They have to. Okay, so we'll see about it. But nonetheless, one thing I was thinking of too was kind of like with Christian Pulisic and Hirving Lozano. Both are their respective countries' next top talents, up-and-coming talents, and one is having the year that the other should be having too. Hirving Lozano scored, I think, his 14th or 13th goal in the Dutch league this week. Season. He scored it this weekend. He scored it this 13th or 14th. And I think that is the most goals scored by a player in his first season with PSV since some guy in the late 90s, I think it is. Okay. And Lozano's pretty much tearing it up in his league. First year in Europe, playing well. All right. Can't be stopped. And he's got the World Cup coming up this year to where he could even put more eyes on him. And he's probably going to move on to some big team. Okay. And that's the year Christian Pulisic should be having, okay? He should be playing well with Dortmund as he is heading into the World Cup, all right? That's exactly what should be going on. He should be playing, pretty much having an audition of the World Cup in order to have these, because everyone watches the World Cup. These teams watch the World Cup. That's pretty much like how James Rodriguez ended up with Madrid, okay, because of the World Cup. That's what should be happening to Christian Pulisic. It is such a shame that the United States isn't going to be in the World Cup this year, okay? Like, it's just, and I'm still baffled as to how they did make it. I think it's still because of the fact that they fired Klinsmann, brought in Bruce Arena, which was one of the dumbest decisions I've ever seen made in my life, honestly. Yeah, let's recycle coaches. What, are they going to fire Bruce and bring back, or they fired Bruce and they bring back Bob Bradley now? Is that what's going to happen? Should have never got rid of Klinsmann. If anything, you wait till after World Cup qualifying, because I honestly thought that they were a much better team with Klinsmann than they were with Bruce Arena. All right, Bruce Arena was trying to go for the MLS All-Star team there, and it just didn't work out. All right, Klinsmann had the right idea. You play your players from Europe. That's what Mexico does. That's what U.S. should have been doing. Okay, forget the players in the MLS. You want to play. You got to play the best. Plus, players play in Europe. That's no doubt. Okay. Other than Clint Dempsey, I don't know. I'd go with the guys from Europe. Okay, but nonetheless, we'll see. But like I said, with the United States, I mean, it stinks for Christian Pulisic. That's a guy I want to see move on to a bigger club. All right, I'm not a U.S. fan or anything like that, but like I said, I mean, he should be having the year Hirving Lozano's currently having. Let's see what else we got going on in the world of soccer right now. All right, Fabio Capello, old manager, retired, was linked to Italy's job. That's not going to be happening. All right, I think Antonio Conte is going to be taking that job. There's no doubt about that for me. There's no way he's coming back to Chelsea. Let's see. Spurs, like I said, Tottenham's trying to get that goal that Eriksen scored given to Harry Kane. We'll see about that. Fernandinho, nice little trash talk before his little Champions League game with Liverpool. Pretty bold to be down 3-0 and talking trash, but he said that they're a long ball team, which I don't really think so at all, unless I'm just entirely mistaken about how Liverpool plays. I figure Liverpool's more so a counterattacking, go-at-you type team. I don't really think they play long ball if I just haven't watched them enough or what. But I don't know if that's what Fernandinho says, then that's what they are, I guess, according to him. Let's see what else we got going on. I think that's pretty much all that's notable right now. Let's see what's going on. Let's make some predictions for this weekend's games. All right, let's head over to the Premier League. Okay. Let's see. We got, like I said, we got City versus Tottenham going on. Any other good games going on that weekend? Let me double check real quick. Let's see. Go to leagues. Head over to the Premier League. With the Premier League, too, like I always say, very entertaining league. but not the best in terms of quality. Oh yeah, I forgot. We got games going actually on Saturday. Let's see. Saturday, we got Southampton versus Chelsea. I'm going to go with the Chelsea win there, even though they've been kind of underwhelming the last couple of weeks. We got Burnley versus Leicester City. I got Burnley winning that one. Crystal Palace versus Brighton and Hove Albion. I got to go Crystal Palace in that one. Huddersfield Town versus Watford. I say Watford wins. Then we got Swansea versus Everton. I'm going to go draw. Liverpool versus Bournemouth. I'm going to go Liverpool. City versus Tottenham. I want to go draw on that one. I picked a draw for the United and City game. It was pretty close. I mean, I figured United wasn't going to win, and this was draw. So I'm going to stick with the draw here for Tottenham versus Manchester City. Then on Sunday, we got Newcastle United versus Arsenal. Arsenal's been playing well as of late. All right, everyone's kind of forgot about them since they're not really playing for anything other than Europa League, and when you're not really playing for much in the Premier League, it doesn't really matter. But I'm going to go Arsenal on this one. I'm going to stick with the pick, okay? Newcastle's been a decent team. I think they're 10th on the table right now. I'm going to go Arsenal. Then we got United versus West Brom, and I got to go United there. Obviously, they're probably going to have a little bit of momentum from last weekend's game, or this past weekend's game going in there. So I'm going to go with United beating West Brom. And then on Monday, we got West Ham United versus Stoke City. I'm going to go West Ham in that one. All right. Actually, you know what? I'm going to go... No, they drew this past weekend. I'm going to go win for West Ham there. All right. So that's actually going to wrap it up for today's podcast. Today, we talked Premier League, talked United versus City. Again, what a game that was. United ended up winning that one 3-2. We talked PSG and Pogba in the second segment. When is PSG finally going to learn that buying players, the top players, isn't always going to help you get wins in the Champions League, as it hasn't so far? Third segment, we talked about Champions League. All right, my picks for this week's games for teams to advance, I'm going to go with Barca, Bayern, Liverpool, and Madrid. All right, people are talking as if City have a chance at coming back against Liverpool. I just don't see it happening. And then for this segment, as we will always do, talked about anything else going on in the world of soccer, talked about a little bit of news and notes, talked a bit about how Christian Pulisic should be having the year that Hirving Lozano is, but since he doesn't have the World Cup, he's not able to. And then we talked a bit about Concacaf Champions League. Again, I picked Chivas and Club America making it out. And then we made my picks for the upcoming weekend's Premier League games. So we'll be back next Monday, as we are every Monday. So thanks for listening to the GSMC Soccer Podcast. I am your host, Jesse Tapia. Like I said, we'll be back Monday, so stay tuned, and we'll talk to you later.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Soccer Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network, from movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.